All right, good morning, everyone. It is my honor to introduce Jason Brooks, a cybersecurity professional whose background fuses military service, Silicon Valley grit, and a love for sports. A proud Bay Area native and a U.S. Navy veteran, Jason brings over a decade of experience in SOC operations, threat intelligence, and cyber defense. In this talk, Full Court Press, how baseball officiating shaped a cybersecurity career. Jason will draw on his experience as both an athlete and an official to show teamwork, strategy, and split-second decisions to the court and how it translates to cybersecurity leadership and resilience. Please join me in welcoming Jason Brooks.
Thank you so much, Sydney. I appreciate it. Hello, all. Thank you all for being here this morning. Any of you guys see my coffee? No? Okay, perfect. Yeah. I have a question for you all. I'm messing around. Thank you. How many of you guys have played a team sport before? Perfect. How many of you guys have watched your favorite team on TV and yelled at the official for making the incorrect call? Okay, perfect. Today, I know my audience. Today, we're going to talk about basketball officiating, the game of basketball, and how being on the hardwood, those skills translate to the SOC and to being a security professional. My name is Jason Brooks. I'm a cybersecurity professional. I've been in this industry for a very long time. I'm a second-gen technologist. My father was a technologist as well, and I found my passion in security. We start off with a game plan. This is the initial thing in sports, right? Having that correct game plan, making sure that you're prepared for what's about to happen. Our game plan today is to go over my dual journey. I'm going to tell you guys about the parallels between my two career fields, cybersecurity and basketball and officiating. And then we're going to go over a playbook that you guys could possibly use to hone in on your skills and things like that. My journey. On the court, I found a love for this game at the age of 3 years old. There's pictures of me with a basketball, just holding it in my arms and wouldn't let it go. I had the size of a football player, but basketball was my initial passion. So from that point on, basketball became everything that I wanted to do. If I'm going to school, it was basketball. If I was working on technology, I would be working on something basketball related. I became a competitive basketball player at an early age, and then once I got to my high school year ages, I unfortunately was let go by my basketball team. My junior year, I didn't make the varsity team, and I had to find alternative means. Those alternative means ended up being, I started working for the girls basketball team as a water boy. I know. Have you guys dealt with the water boy before? The scorekeeper, the person who works? Unfortunate circumstances ended up being a great circumstance for me. In basketball officiating, we look at as the scorebook as our third team member on the court. They're a part of our team. So by me becoming that scorebook keeper and that scorekeeper, I learned about officiating, and it pulled me into that realm. I went through many high pressure games as a scorekeeper, and then the next year I stopped being the scorekeeper for the girls and I made my varsity team. In cybersecurity, I'm a cybersecurity engineer and a consultant. I'm going to talk about many of those same skills that I learned working as a scorekeeper, as an official, and as a player, and how they correlate to the cybersecurity consultant. The main correlation that crosses over between basketball and cybersecurity is the ability to teamwork. Teamwork, passing the ball, similar to sharing information and information gathering in cybersecurity. On the court, we try to clearly communicate, both nonverbal as an official, using our signs and signals, and also verbal, talking to our officials, making signs and things, talking to the table, telling them what number, and talking to our players. As a player, we talk about where we need to be on the play in our huddles, which players we're having issues with. We talk to other teammates and talk to them in a manner that they're able to receive the information the way that we would like. All of this correlates in cybersecurity. During incidents, we want to have during incidents and every day, we want to have clear, concise information and transmit that information to our teammates in the correct manner. In basketball, we have defined roles. Does anybody know the different roles of a basketball player on a team? You guys know a position? Perfect. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and a center. I myself am a three. I'm a small forward. With that, each person needs to know their specific role on the basketball court. It's the same in security. We have defined roles that we give to each individual team member, and we expect them and hold them accountable to performing that role. Whether you're tier 1, you're tier 2, you're tier 3, you're going to be handling the network stuff today. You'll be handling systems. So, defining roles with flexible execution. That's also another thing. So, being a small forward is more of a utility player. Small forwards tend to play different positions. Usually, like LeBron James, he's technically a point guard, but he's a small forward. So he can play point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and power forward. Center at times if they're playing small ball. It's the same thing in technology. You have a defined role, but you're also able to cross domains if you need to enable to help your teammates and things like that. These are skills that I learned at an early age in basketball that directly correlate to my job in cybersecurity. Trusting in your teammates' abilities, having confidence in your team members at work. There's a small story about trusting in your teammates from this also that correlates to basketball. At a young age, some of you all might have children. At a young age, at 16, I made that varsity team, and I had a very difficult decision to make. We played basketball 2 nights of the week, Tuesday and Friday. I was a technologist and I was a part of the robotics team, and we needed to program our robot to perform in a competition in Silicon Valley. I was a starting player at that point in time, and I had to make a decision on Wednesdays was our practice day, whether I was going to go to robotics or whether I was going to go to basketball practice. So I would start on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I would go to robotics. I would go to robotics on Wednesday, and I would have a conflict with my coach on Wednesday after robotics when I got to practice. I made the decision to go to robotics every Wednesday, and every Friday, my coach benched me. But this is me choosing technology, because I have 2 paths, technologist and being an athlete, that I choose technology. I got benched every Friday, every single Friday, and I was the 6th man. What I learned from this was prioritization, similar to triage, right? What is your priority? My priority is what's going to take me somewhere in the future, which was cybersecurity, which was technology. Not basketball was a passion, but technology would take me where I needed to go. After that season, my coach told me that I made the best decision of my life being benched every Friday in order to be a technologist and be a part of that club. And it looks like it paid off in the end. It paid off as well as at the end of that final season, I ended up getting 6th man of the year. And if I didn't get benched every Friday, I would not have been that. Basketball officiating. Split-second decisions, decision-making. In basketball, there is no coming back. When there's a play coming, you have to be in the correct position, and you need to make a decision whether it is a block or a charge. That'll be a block for here or a charge behind here. It's the same thing in cybersecurity. You make a decision of which path that you believe that we need to be going based off the information that you have. That I received that play, and I need to make a decision based off the information that I see, and then we can go from there. Having impartiality and integrity. Excuse me. Integrity is an essential part of cybersecurity, as well as it is an essential part of being an official. You'll have two teams, a red team and a black team. You can't be biased between either of the two teams. So therefore, you must have integrity as an official, and you must ensure that your fellow officials and your extended team, the table, has integrity. We must enforce the rules fairly, regardless of the team. And this is probably one of the most I think it's looked over about sports, right? Working from being a part of any team sport or being involved in teams. It's conflict management, dealing with people. We don't really understand how important that is in life and how much of a skill it is that you gather doing so in sports. From dealing with teammates at practice each day, making sure that they have the integrity to show up to practice and to the games on time, from dealing with other players and coaches in game and outside of game. They help you to deal with your teammates and your things at work. So I was working as a security, I was like a kind of a security admin vulnerability manager in Concord at one point in time. And we had a security breach. And I was working, I guess, as a DOD, might be a little too much information, but I was working at a DOD contractor, and we had conflicts based off of the incident between the different parties. They were playing the blame game as to whose fault it was for the incident. Very common, but I was able to use my conflict management skills that I had learned through basketball officiating. Still being young, I was able to sit the different parties, even though I was still a junior personnel, sit the parties down. We were able to talk through what was going on and who was at fault, and also talk to our remote headquarters contracting company in Washington, D.C. to settle this incident and write down our next steps. These basketball officiating and basketball conflict management skills ended up being essential in that situation. By show of hands for engagement, who deals with conflict management on a weekly or monthly basis? Okay, perfect. Do you guys mind a quick, brief, 30-second or less? What was the most recent conflict that you had? Is anybody? Okay. Perfect. The blame game, right? Yeah. So perfect. Is everybody able to hear the gentleman in the back? Perfect. So conflicts happen all the time. That was a complex set of conflict that had sound like dispersed. It was a dispersed workforce. They were deploying software to their enterprise, and there was conflicts. They had people specifically designed to work on those conflicts as well, being the Scrum masters. And yeah, so conflicts happen every day. And after those conflicts, I want to remind you guys to stay sane and moving on to one of the most important things that I learned in basketball. It's halftime, baby. It's time to take a break and to refresh, renew, and to get your mind right, to get your body right, to get yourself right, to be able to have longevity in this field, and to have longevity and to be able to deal with, we call it, the majority of incidents and the overflow of your mind from looking at logs and SIMs all day. Halftime is about understanding the importance of stepping back and ensuring the longevity in this high-pressure career field. So we're taking a 10-minute moment of silence for halftime. Perfect. After halftime, we move on to a very important portion of basketball, and specifically cybersecurity. Strategic thinking, utilizing your game plan. We have these frameworks that we utilize. I don't know if you see this, it looks similar. Prepare, execute, adapt, and review. We utilize these same steps in different cybersecurity frameworks. These are the same game plans that you use in sports, basketball specifically, officiating as well. We prepare our bodies by exercising. We prepare playbooks in basketball for different scenarios. We make sure that we execute those game plans in the game, and we follow those plans while remaining alert and being ready to adapt. We adjust our tactics and techniques based off of what's going on in the environment, what's new coming down, whether you guys are getting new tactics or new adversaries coming about in cybersecurity. And then we handle the incidents, contain, eradicate, and get rid of the incident, get rid of the compromise. And then after all of that, we'll have after action review. With the review, we take a look at the review and how we can be better as cybersecurity professionals, and how we could have better handled those incidents. These are all things that correlate and directly translate to things that we do in basketball. We take a look at game film in every sport after the game to make sure that we did what we were supposed to do, and if we didn't, what we could have done better and how we can improve. Having attention to detail, spotting fouls and finding vulnerabilities. You have to have that attention to detail to make sure that you're looking at things in cybersecurity, whether that's a vulnerability report, whether that's taking a look at your logs, digging deep in the EDR logs. The same thing in basketball. Having that attention to detail to see other players making a reverse cut instead of coming forward, or as an official, seeing players sneak into the game or not, and being able to pause them at the table and tell them they need to go back out. Pattern recognition, identifying signature moves of players like Kyrie or LeBron James, their specific fadeaways, or LeBron James and his signature layup. We must identify those same patterns in tech. The small details matter. With the small details, a foot on a line in basketball can change an entire game, as with Kevin Durant, or the similar misconfiguration is one of the top 10 vulnerabilities with OWASP. At the bottom, I put one of my favorite quotes from one of my players. Basketball is a lifelong game. You continue to learn the game day in and day out, and along the way, you get better. It's the same in cybersecurity. Day in and day out, you continue with the experience and learning new things and putting in the time, and you continue to improve and get better. These are all things that I've learned from basketball that cross over to cybersecurity. Adaptability and resilience, the art of bouncing back. Having mental toughness directly translates over your determination. We already had halftime. Halftime's over, there's no more breaks. We can call timeout, but you might not have a timeout while working in cybersecurity. So you have to have that mental toughness and resilience to stay in the game. It might not be as physical taxing, but there are studies about the mental wear being even worse than the physical wear on the body. You have to be recovered, in officiating, you need to be able to recover from missed calls. As we stated in the beginning of this, you guys are used to yelling at officials at the TV for making an incorrect call on your team. Well, imagine a stadium full of 100,000 people and you make the incorrect call and the game is on the line. Learning to deal with that pressure, that noise, that scrutiny, not only from the fans, but from the players who are in your face, the coaches who are on the benches, and most importantly, your fellow officials who are who are on your team. But you messed up. But you have to stick with it, and we have to bounce back after those attacks. We have that excellent call of a technical foul we can call on the player, but that doesn't help with the fans or the coaches or my partners or the mistake I actually made. I have to learn to deal with that. This directly correlates to cybersecurity, and it's probably one of the most direct correlations over to cybersecurity as a junior engineer. Being able to deal with making a mistake and dealing with your superior being on your butt based off the mistake. But then after that, they know that you're gonna make a mistake here and there, being able to let go of that mistake and continue on. That's resiliency, that ability to do that, right? We must remain resilient. I'm moving on to the third portion, the third portion, which is your playbook, how you can leverage your unconventional experience to be a better cybersecurity professional, right? You want to identify transferable skills from playing sports or whatever you like to do. You have skills that you learn, communication, all the ones we've talked about so far, they cross so many different domains, but specifically in sports. Team sports build collaboration. Individual sports help develop self-reliance and confidence, right? Creative pursuits help enhance lateral thinking, being able to spread out. Articulate your value. Frame your background as an advantage. My experiences here correlate over here because I did this, this, and this. I was decisive on this certain play. I was decisive on shooting that last second shot, which applies to cybersecurity. I know how to make a decision and I know how to stick with it. I know how to be resilient because I've dealt with these situations in the past. This last portion, seeking diverse teams, right? As a player, right? As a team person, this is an advantage to us because we've dealt with different people. We've traveled and played in different places. So you're used to dealing with different cultures and people with different mindsets. So if you search for different teams that are diverse, it will be an advantage for you because you can thrive in that environment. And the final buzzer, to wrap this up, when the game is over, I wanted to hone in on a few different things. Ensure that diverse experiences create stronger security professionals. So ensure that you guys seek out diverse workforces and find places where it's a great fit for you. The skills that make great teams work are universal, and cybersecurity needs more diverse perspectives. You guys have those diverse perspectives from being a part of team sports, leadership, adaptability, resilience. You guys are used to being in diverse environments, high pressure environments. All these things make you an essential part of our cybersecurity workforce and specifically what is needed. Once again, my name is Jason Brooks. My handle is up here, Jason Brooks 32 on Twitter, and you can reach me at jbrooks@bcsecurity.com. Do you guys have any questions? Any follow-up? You want overtime? I need one more slide for overtime, man. So overtime, right? So I mean that's normal. Are you talking about overtime from a cybersecurity from a basketball perspective? Directly correlates, right? How many times have you gotten an incident at the end of the day and not been able to pass it off, right? Had to put in that extra work. I mean, I think we all have to do that in this ever-changing profession, right? Even though you get off work, you still have to stay up to date with current trends. A lot of companies don't give you that opportunity to stay up to date. So you're putting in overtime once you even get off work. You guys are putting in another 1 to 2 to 5 hours, some people. So overtime is a commonality in our profession. And that's another point that crosses directly over. What unexpected backgrounds have helped you in your cybersecurity career? Do you guys have any examples of that? Like, what do any of you come from backgrounds? You have one here?
We had speech and debate in high school.
Okay.
So everything from being able to be on stage like you are right now, to conflict resolution like you talked about earlier, to being an advocate for myself within an organization, all of these things I would say directly come from my time in speech and debate and being comfortable in those types of environments.
Yeah. He says speech and debate. It directly correlates over as well. Makes him comfortable on stage, as well as being able to communicate effectively to different stakeholders, team members, managers, and I'm sure with the debate portion, also getting his argument across, right? Yes.
In the past, I guess when I was more junior, I found that sometimes on a review.
So as a junior engineer or junior analyst, any tips as far as your points from review not being followed up on? So I think this directly correlates over to this as well, right? So on a team, you have different levels and skill levels of players, right? And some have more influence than others. So the coach has his favorite players. I mean, they're not technically supposed to, but we know in basketball, there's favorite players, or in team sports. So those players have more influence when putting out plays or having influence about what we're doing for a game plan. Being that junior person and learning in those team environments to influence from the bottom. So that's raising your voice, speaking up. Write a Slack message to, whoever the PM is or the lead, and follow up on, why was my issue not addressed? And then they'll probably address it with you right there on the spot, honestly, or send an email, or talk to them in person. So we have these communication channels in technology. We just have to use them. Did I have a question in the back? I'm sorry, did I miss you? That seems like an extreme advantage, definitely. But now bringing yourself back down, do you have tips, or what do you do to bring yourself down at times to deal with? Okay, let's go with at the end of the day. Okay. Yeah, that human factor. Yeah. So he went right back to halftime, figuring out your outlets and how you're going to relieve your stress. But once again, I thank you all for making it to the talk. I truly appreciate you all. Reach out to me on my different social media outlets. Thanks a lot.